2025 Subaru CrossTrek. Say hello to the automotive equivalent of a charcuterie board, with vegan spring rolls, a bowl of sun chips, served by a non-binary barista, whose everyday carry includes a Benchmade knife and a Browning High Power with a low serial number. This is a car that's hard to pin down because it has something for everybody.
This episode of Regular Car Reviews is sponsored by Lasfit. Lasfit are heavy-duty floor mats, laser cut and designed for the perfect fit. Lasfit uses 3D scanning technology to capture every corner and crevice so it fits in your footwells perfectly, edge to edge. And they offer more coverage than the OEM mats. You can see we're putting floor mats into a Mustang Mach-E. Ford is okay with their floor mats, but you can see that they designed their rear mats as 3 separate pieces, while the Lasfit is one complete piece. That means crumbs and stuff, they're not gonna fit in between and get under the floor mats and leave you with more stuff to clean. And these are made from premium TPE material, super easy to clean. Just take them out, hose them off, dry them off. Me, I like to use a bottle of soapy water, spray bottle there. It gets them perfectly clean. They are neither too rigid like plastic nor too soft like rubber, and they're not gonna turn yellow or brittle or get hard over time. Here's how to get these. Click the link in the description and use code RCR to save money on the Lasfit website. That's promo code RCR to save money on the Lasfit website. They're great. I like them. Feel good under your feet.
Do you have a friend who doesn't know what kind of car to get and won't take your Toyota Camry advice? Well, show them a Subaru CrossTrek and they'll say, "Oh, isn't that nice?" And then they'll go back to watching Best of Dwight Schrute compilation videos. Powered by Subaru's 2.5-liter FV25D, making 180 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque, this little SUV accelerates and slithers through Subaru's Lineartronic CVT that fake shifts. Hate that.
Come on, Subaru, what do you got? All right, it almost goes to red line. I mean, I like the noise it's making. Honestly, it's not trying to make a burble. It's not trying to do fake engine sounds. That is a nice, harsh, raspy Subaru sound.
And it will go a little harder in S mode.
A little bit more,
A little higher rev.
But it's okay because I found out how to fake bust. I take empty DEF bottles from the Flying J, fill them with half and half, and when my grinder hookup is slurping me, I discombobulate them Sherlock Holmes style and pour half and half with hints of death on their $80 perm. Love, what's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Ooh. Handling is sloppy and incommunicative. You know you're turning the steering wheel, your tie rods are shoving the front wheels around, but it's dreamlike. It's like a lucid dream that you're not quite in control of. This is because there's a lot of weight and ride height and top heaviness for an SUV built on the Subaru Impreza platform. You know, a small car platform. Ever see a little kid with a huge backpack full of books try to run around a corner? That. Subaru debuted the CrossTrek in 2011 for the 2012 model year in Shanghai, with the production model unveiled at the 2011 Frankfurt Motor Show and the USDM version at the New York International Auto Show in 2012 for the 2013 model year. I put "must love outer course" on my profile because I'm not wasting time anymore. The CrossTrek confused people at first. Why did you make another stubby hatchback, Subaru? You already make the Forester, which in 2011 was pretty much the same car. Well, here's why. Subaru had plans for the Forester. They were about to introduce a size difference kink into the Forester. The Forester was about to get big. Why did Subaru want to inject the Forester with growth serum? Because Subaru wanted the Forester to become a big family SUV. Well, why did Subaru want to give the Forester
Big mommy milkers.
instead of just making a family SUV from scratch? Because Subaru already tried that in 2000 with the Tribeca. That was a 4,245-pound curb weight 3-row soft rotor that North America only sort of liked. Only 77,000 units sold during the Tribeca's ambitious 12-year run in North America. That's only 6,416 sold per year. So instead, Subaru's next big family car would be a vehicle that the public already loves, the Forester. But if the Forester would move up to become a wide-hipped breeder, something would have to fill its space. Enter the CrossTrek. Like its former predecessor, it's an Impreza-based, friend-shaped lima bean wearing fly-fishing waders. And it became a sales success. In 2025, the CrossTrek has been in production for 13 years now. Consumer Reports ranked it US's #1 compact SUV in 2022, US News and World Reports ranked it #6 in 2022, and Motor Trend ranked it #1 in 2023. That's despite the CrossTrek being slower than a Boca Ratonian trying to get his bag out of the overhead compartment, his bones creaking, pants falling down, pill bottles falling like munitions out of a B-52. The CrossTrek accelerates slower than Goku charging the Spirit Bomb. The CrossTrek takes longer to get to 60 than a furry getting to the point of their story. Slow wasn't a problem for the first and second generation CrossTrek because you could get the first generation one with a 5-speed manual transmission and the second one with a 6-speed manual. A slow car with a stick shift is kind of fun. You can drive 10/10ths all the time and not get into trouble. Just ask K-car drivers. But the manual disappeared in the third generation, leaving only the Dicktown CVT. Yes, the CVT is technically faster than the manual. It stays in the torque band all the time. But here's the thing about CVTs. You're trying to merge onto the highway and there's nothing you can do. It's just your foot's in it, the engine's going, and you're not going any faster. Yes, you are accelerating, but here's the thing, you're not feeling like you're going any faster. You have a slow car with a manual transmission, you're bouncing it off the rev range all the time, and you're trying to perfectly shift every single gear. You, the driver, are involved in this crazy experience getting the slow car up to speed, milking every gear for all it's worth. So what if it's a half-second slower in real time? It's you doing the work. And I suppose that's why CVTs fake shift, to give you the impression that something's happening. On the other hand, the CrossTrek is cheap relative to most active lifestyle crossovers, which means it's good off-road. Well, ask any Panther body driver. Any car is good off-road if you don't care. And the CrossTrek is cheap enough that you won't care if you bang it up in the Pine Barrens of New Jersey, or the strip mines of northern Pennsylvania, or Midwestern fallow farm fields. Subaru CrossTrek. The official car of weed dealers with 401ks. Non-WRX Subarus tend to give off maybe a handful of different impressions. Men with poor senses of humor will say it's for lesbians because that's the only joke they know. Or it's for recently dumped college sophomores. Or it's for that one aunt who thinks she's Nelson Mandela because she spent a month in Facebook jail. Sometimes they're so good you realize you've been misjudging Subaru all these years. And other times they're so bad you realize you've taken walking for granted all these years. Like that brat we reviewed a lifetime ago. But the Subaru CrossTrek is a lot closer to the former than the latter. It's not great, but it's the kind of thing that forces a critical reevaluation of modern Subaru. Because I don't really liked this car at first, but it grew more and more positive as the day went on. It's a weird car. It's awkward. It has the same learning curve as walking in a Resident Evil game, but once you get the hang of the CrossTrek, it becomes strangely endearing. It feels purposeful, as if Subaru actually put consideration into building something that didn't feel like a Costco sample of a larger car. The way some crossovers feel like shrunken versions of a more comprehensive experience. See Ford Bronco Sport. This is the Forester making babies with the Impreza, and then the baby grows up to be the one person in the friend group who's actually in control of their life. They're not the first person you choose to call when you're getting the gang together, but they're the one you can trust the most not to flake out. They listen to everybody's problems and deliver wake-up calls like a hotel front desk. Because one phrase you should go out of your way to never have thrown at you is, "Do you hear yourself right now?" The Subaru CrossTrek is a car I could imagine growing to love as time goes on, because it has a lot of common sense built into it. Look at the hood, it even has a service position. So how Honda is that? And look at the oil filter. I love that Subaru does this. It's right in front of you. Simple. It's practically revolutionary. This is one of the more retro capitalistic cars you can get right now. At least when it comes to simulating the experience of driving at a time when Phil Hartman was still referred to in the present tense. Part of what makes this feel so retro is the same thing that sort of plagues Toyota, which is that they're a slow adopter of new technology, so that when they finally get around to implementing it, it either feels outdated or it's full of bugs. The touchscreen here lags and doesn't always respond to your presses,
Or maybe it's weirdly backwards compatible, like we've come from 2025 all the way back to 1999, and someone would have a CD player mounted somewhere. No way. No way. I did not make this up. I did not make this up. I did not plant this. There legitimately is a Sony Walkman in here. That means the owner's actually using this. Who's Josh Reed? Did they buy this off Facebook Marketplace and this belonged to somebody back in the 2000s and they wrote their name on it? This is amazing. What treasures are we about to find in here? Oh, nothing. You can't find physical workarounds for the air conditioning when all the controls are digital. Another weird thing is that it doesn't have a traditional vacuum brake booster, and at first I was confused why Subaru would be using what appears to be an electric motor to create vacuum. But from what we found, it seems like this is a part of Subaru's EyeSight driver assist. The idea is that an electric motor can react faster so that the brake booster, being electronic, means the car can engage the brakes quicker than if it used a traditional engine intake vacuum. And the pedal feel stays pretty consistent despite the amount of engine load at any particular time. Granted, there aren't as many big terrain differences around here as in our old shooting location, but there's enough difference to get a sense of how this behaves under different loads, phrasing. And for the most part, it worked as intended. I could imagine this being really helpful if, say, you're stuck behind an old person taking 75 business minutes to make a right-hand turn into the Wegmans. Subaru CrossTrek, sponsored by Desperation Braking. Subaru CrossTrek. This is the car you get when you don't treat the concept of settling like a boogeyman you need to hide from. As kids, I think each of us has a vague impression of how our lives will play out. For some people, it's specific, but for most of us, I think it's vague. And it's because the only thing we really know about it is this, that things are going to go well. We might not know how or when or why. We just know that no matter how good the present might be, there's a future that's better than now. And the only thing that separates us is how long we hold on to that impression. Any number of people grow up believing that they'll never have to settle. They'll get the job they want, the spouse they want, the house, the car, the side piece. All of these things are just going to click into place because future you has boundless potential. And they're going to get it done. And for some people, that's exactly what happens. But for others, reality chips away at that impression so that you begin to negotiate with it in your mind. You start trying to figure out what you can accept and still be happy. And in modern culture, that's considered settling. Settling has become this demeaning word for people who give up on themselves. But here's the thing. That's not what settling is. Settling just means that vague impression of the future
has adjusted to your present reality. Your priorities are different now. You grew up wanting the arm candy trophy wife and the Ferrari and the great big house. But now you sort of recognize that there are more important things, like having someone who loves you and a car you can depend on and a rent-controlled living space and good enough health not to dip into your savings for medical bills. People ask us what car to buy, and so we tell them, Toyota Corolla, Toyota Camry, but they aren't feeling it. They want something newer, nicer. So I say, boom, Honda Civic Hybrid. But they don't want that either.
Because you still don't listen.
Because you don't want to settle. Well, here you go. The Subaru CrossTrek is a Corolla you can bring around mixed company. No, it's not the car you aspire to own. I can't imagine anybody truly aspires to a Subaru CrossTrek. But just because you have one instead of whatever car you were dreaming of doesn't mean you've settled. Not if all your needs are still being met. I need you to hear me. If you're happy, no one can tell you that you've settled. You can only believe them. I need you to hear me. If you're happy, no one can tell you that you've settled. You can only believe them and then sabotage your own happiness. So get the Subaru CrossTrek. Have a car that literally will do everything for you, especially if you have one of those jobs that when you have to commute in the snow. A Subaru CrossTrek will help you to get to a better position in life. Thanks. See you next week.